Good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and I welcome you all in this live session by Drishti IAS. So, we will be discussing Indian Express of the day. Okay, we will start with this particular page, we will have a look at it and then we will start with these three important articles, that is manufacturing pushes GDP growth. So, in the last quarter we have seen a good amount of growth in manufacturing sector, because of which we are saying that it might push the GDP growth, and we are saying that the target which we have estimated for this particular year, that would be quite comfortable to achieve as of now. Okay. Then COP28 climate conference begins. Okay, so we will be having a look at this particular event where this there is this disaster, there is this fund. Okay, there is this fund which has been operationalized in this particular conference, beginning of the conference. We will look at it, and then disaster management related activities under PM Modi, because you know that PM Modi has given special significance to this disaster management since his time as a CM in Gujarat. Okay, so after that we will see what significant event has happened in this particular realm. Okay. Then we will look at some world affairs, some economic questions, and then we will go to the practice questions which was given to you in the previous lecture, and then we will see a practice question for the today's lecture. Okay. So, when you are looking about the today's front page, you can see there is exit poll results, because there was elections in 5 states. So, they have given the exit poll for 4 states. If you are interested, you can go through it, otherwise it does not have any significance for your exam point of view. Other than that, the matter of concern that is between India and USA right now is because of the conspiracy and the involvement as alleged involvement of Indian agent by USA. So, that is one thing. We have to be quite careful in dealing with this particular issue, because it is not like Canada, it is with the USA, which is a significant partner for us. Okay. Then PM's 4 biggest castes. Okay. So, you know that recently this caste census related issues has been in the news. There is a debate going on with respect to the caste census, and he has mentioned that the 4 important castes for him are poor, youth, women and farmers. Okay. So, we will have a look at it briefly, we will have a passing reference to this, and then manufacturing pushes GDP growth rate at 7.6% in quarter 2. We will have a look at this particular article in detail. Okay. So, let us start with the first article. PM 4 biggest caste for me are poor, youth, women and farmers. Since this debate is going on with respect to caste census, or you can say caste based survey. Okay, Bihar has initiated this particular process. Bihar has gone for the caste survey and made data in the public domain, and after that there was demand in Maharashtra as well, and then even Rajasthan government are saying that they will be going for this particular caste census. And because of the elections in 2024, even opposition is vouching for this caste census. So, what is the stand of the other party, that is ruling party BJP? They are saying that 4 biggest caste for me are poor, youth, women and farmers. He is saying that if we are going to concentrate on these 4 sections of the society, if they develop, everyone will develop by itself. Okay. So, he is saying that poor, youth, women and farmers are the biggest castes, and upliftment of these 4 will make the country develop. Okay. So, this is the view of our Prime Minister. He is saying that improve the living standard of every poor person by improving the living standards and by empowering these particular sections. Okay. When we are talking about youth, we know that we have a demographic dividend and we have to rationalize that, capitalize it. That is why we are going for skill development, etc. Here we are trying for the women empowerment. Recently you must have heard about this scheme, that is 15,000 drones are to be operated by women from the self-help groups. Okay. They will capitalize this particular thing, they will rent those drones. Okay. So, these are the initiatives which has been taken. Okay. Other than that, in this article there is a mention of Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, and Prime Minister is saying that there are 4 important pillars. That pillars are Amrit Sthav, and that says Nari Shakti, Yuva Shakti, farmers and poor families are the 4 pillars of this particular yatra. Okay. Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. In this yatra, the aim is to reach out to the people and create awareness about services which has been provided by the government or the welfare schemes. Okay. So that no one can leave behind. Okay. So considering that this is a awareness drive, or you can say yatra, which is to create awareness among the all sections of the society, that welfare schemes can be related to your sanitation facilities, essential financial services, electricity connectivity, LPG cylinders, housing for the poor, food security. All these things are considered in this particular yatra, and the aim is to generate awareness about all these things, and to achieve a objective that no one leaves behind. It is about inclusive development, you can say. Okay. So in this particular drive, we will be generating awareness about the welfare schemes by the government. Okay. So that is about this particular article. This thing, it was launched by the Prime Minister from Khunti, Jharkhand on November 15th. We have discussed one more scheme which has been launched from the Khunti, Jharkhand. Okay. It is the birthplace of tribal icon Birsa Munda. Okay. So it has been launched on the 15th of November. From this particular place. The other scheme which we have talked about yesterday was PM Janman scheme. It is for the particularly vulnerable tribal group, PVTGs. Okay. And this is to provide some kind of developmental activities in habitats of these particular communities, okay, which are vulnerable socially, economically, and educationally. Okay, these are some services which will be provided, that is permanent housing, hostel services, Anganwadi, and then there will be roads, connectivity, etc. All these things will be provided under this PM Janman. Okay, moving further, we will start with the first article out of there, that is manufacturing pushes GDP growth rate 7.6 in Q2. Okay. If we are talking about this particular manufacturing sector, there are activities which basically relates to the creation, okay, or let's say industry related activities. Okay. So obviously when such things will boost, we can say that it will inherently impact the GDP of the nation. Okay. Here it is said that the Indian economy fired up in July, September on the back of robust spending by the union as well as the government. So basically they are saying that this particular increase which we are seeing in the manufacturing sector, this is because of robust spending by the union government and the state governments. Okay. So you can see this is because of the government expenditure. Okay. Second thing, you can see that there is this festive season, because of which also this particular growth rate can be seen. Okay. Then most sector recorded impressive growth, and continuing this momentum will be a challenge in second half of the year, given the weak agricultural outlook and normalizing base effect, okay, and tepid global rate. So basically they are saying that no doubt the second quarter has seen a growth rate of this much, but the thing is to it will be kind of challenging for us to continue this momentum. Why? Because there will be a normalizing base effect. There is a base effect. That is, whenever we are comparing a data, we are comparing it with a base. Okay. So let's say if base is 10 and there is a growth of 4, that will become 14. So we can say that there is a growth of 40%. Okay. But let's say if the base is 100 and growth is 110. Okay. So here we are adding it, that is more, the amount is more, but still the growth is here is 10%, okay, and not 14%. So not 40%. So here this is because of the base. If base is large, the relative percentage of increase will be less. So since here already we have seen that the growth rate, the base will be increasing over here. So keeping this momentum will be difficult in the terms of number, that is because of the base effect. Other than that, agriculture outlook, we are saying that there is a weak agricultural outlook because of the extreme events etc. that is happening. Okay. Whenever there is a requirement of rain and that is not happening, that will cause harm to the agriculture, and when rain is not required and because of the uncertain extreme event it happens, like that happened in Gujarat, that will harm agriculture again. Okay. So basically that is because of the weak agricultural outlook and the base effect and the tepid global growth. Because of the COVID, we could not recover it fully yet when we are talking about the global level. Okay. So these are the reason because of which we are saying that there are chances that we will not be able to continue this momentum. But our estimation of the growth rate, which were nearly 6.0 to 6.5% around. So we are saying that now we can comfortably achieve that estimate. So for us, there is no much need to worry as of now. Okay. So let's have a look at it in the detail. The Indian economy unexpectedly grew by 7.6% in the July-September 2023 quarter, driven significantly by 13.9% surge in the manufacturing sector. So here you can see this is 13.9 surge. This number is big, because of which there will be a problem on the base, on the lines of the base effect. Okay, so that is one thing. Then GDP growth for the April-September 2023 reached 7.7%, down from the 9.6% in the previous year's period. This is data, you don't have to go for it. Now, Chief Economic Advisor V. Ananthan Nageswaram highlighted these numbers could potentially increase the 6.5% estimate for the current year's real GDP growth. Okay, they are saying that they might even increase the estimate to a particular value, but if we are thinking about that there is no increase in the estimate, at least we will be achieving the estimate which is given earlier. Okay, so that is a comfort on the side of economy. Okay, now further when we see the construction sector, mining, utility services experienced double digit growth. Okay, obviously these are part of your industries and manufacturing sector, and they have seen a double digit growth. Challenges for the sustained growth include weak agricultural prospects, normalization of the base effect, sluggish global growth. We have discussed it. Then government led expenditure boosted the growth significantly. As I told you, this particular growth in this particular quarter was because of the government led expenditure, with capital expenditure and the consumption expenditure showing positive trends. Okay, so now no doubt it is because of the government led expenditure, but we are saying that even the consumption expenditure is also showing a positive trend. Okay, so that is a good thing. Private consumption expenditure reduces as a share of GDP while government expenditure increases. Obviously here we are saying that in this particular quarter government expenditure has increased. Okay, moving further, manufacturing, mining, construction, we have seen that. Now economists expect a significant moderation in GDP growth for the second half of the financial year due to the various factors. Okay, we have discussed weak agricultural outlook, global growth trends and potential slowdown. I think that slide has been repeated, no worries. Moving further, then there was this article that core sectors clock 12.1% growth. Okay, when we are talking about this core sector, there are 8 core industries we have. Okay, these are important. You can go and look for it. What are the 8 core industries? For example, if you are talking about crude oil, cement, fertilizer, iron, steel, electricity, all these things are included in the core sector. Okay, so they are saying that core sector is showing a good trend also. Okay, here you can see a festive season growth rate at 8 core industries rose to 12.1% in October. Okay, so because of the festive season, obviously when there is a festive season, people go for expenditure, consumption expenditure will increase, and because of which there is a a positive trend when we are talking about this particular thing. Okay, other than that has increased from the 9.2% in the September. The sharp expansion recorded in the production of electricity, steel and coal during this month. Okay, obviously this is a festive season, so electricity requirement would be more. Okay, steel and coal sector has seen a increasing trends. So this is also you can say look at it as a part of manufacturing, because for manufacturing processes etc. we require electricity, steel and coal. So that is why we can say since manufacturing is doing good, we can see that these sectors were also doing good. Okay, this is the graph. You can see 12.1% growth in the 8 core sectors. Okay, moving further. So the second article would be from the environmental section for GS3 paper, that will be important. Okay, so you know that because of this climate change and etc., we are going for many conferences, we have different frameworks. So one of these conferences is Conference of Parties on Climate Change, that is COP28, which is happening. That is the number of the conference, that is COP28, which is happening now. Okay, so this has started not giving up on the coal anytime soon in India. So before this conference has started, it was seen that they hours before Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Dubai for the COP28 climate meeting, India reiterated that it was not in position to abandon reliance on the coal for the electricity generation. So ultimately, no doubt, we are going for the green energy and we are going for the renewable energy, etc. We are working on that front. But as of now, considering the real condition of the country or the developmental front, when we are talking about, we cannot abandon the electricity generation by coal as of now, because the requirement which India has cannot be fulfilled by this green energy as of now. Okay. So they have said that we cannot go for abandoning the reliance on the coal for electricity generation anytime soon, even as it rapidly ramps up the renewable energy supplies to ensure quick transition to green energy. Okay, we are trying for the quick transition for the green energy, but as of now we are not ready yet. Okay, India is often criticized for not phasing out the coal power fast enough, but it has maintained that it needs to continue with the coal for some times to meet its growing electricity demands and the developmental needs. Okay, because most of the manufacturing sector relies on the electricity demands, and we cannot abruptly go for the green energies or renewable energies until unless we have a reliable supply and then we have a reliable connectivity grid. Okay, so that is about this. Then they have also said that despite all these reasons we cannot abandon it, but we are on the track to fulfill all the climate commitments, whatever climate commitments or the nationally determined contribution we have presented in front of the world. We are doing good on that front. Even whatever NDCs we have committed, we are doing good, and then we have actually renewed our determinations, or you can our goals. We had announced and upgraded our NDCs from the last year. Okay, since we have achieved our earlier targets, we are now upgrading it, and we are on a track to achieve that as well. Okay, India is taking proactive practical climate actions measure when we are talking about our commitment to climate change related mitigation, etc. We are doing good on that front. Okay, so that is one thing. India cannot abandon coal or electricity generation by coal as of now. Okay, so that is one thing. Other than that, when we are talking about this COP, in the first day or the in the starting of this particular meeting, we have operationalized a fund for climate disaster related fund that is there. Okay, that has been started in COP27 itself, but it could not be operationalized then. Now we have did it, and it immediately kind of got funds of $475 million US. Okay, so let's see what is this particular fund about. The COP28 climate conference in Dubai began on Thursday. Okay, so this particular summit is happening in Dubai, approving one of the most keenly awaited decision, the operationalization of the loss and damage fund. Okay, loss and damage fund for the developing countries. Okay, so this particular fund is talking about financial needs or financial assistance to the all those countries or developing countries which are suffering because of any kind of climate change related activities or any kind of extreme events. Let's say because of the sea level rising, or because of any kind of flood related activities or drought related activities, anything which is happening because of the climate change, any extreme event, disaster happening in that particular area because of the climate change in developing countries, this fund will provide for assistance to all those things. Now the thing is, now it is the fund is there, but when we are talking about the amount of fund with respect to the requirement, it is pretty less. Okay, so let's have a look at it. About $475 million was immediately committed to the fund. $275 million were committed by European Union, and UAE has given $100 million. Okay, other than that, this loss and damage fund, as I told you, it was set up in the COP27 in Egypt, that is Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt. This particular place, this conference was held earlier last year. So there this particular fund was set up and it could not operationalize. Okay, this fund is meant to provide financial assistance to the countries recovering from climate disasters, okay, such as extreme weather events. Okay, it would also be used to finance measures to deal with other climate related activities like sea level rise, migration, displacement, etc. Okay, there are countries which has committed some fund, like Germany has given proposed some $100 million, UK has proposed $70 million, USA has given 17.5 million dollars, Japan has given $10 million, India has said that we are quite supporting this particular step. Okay, under the international climate change architecture, developed countries are obligated to provide money to developing countries for the climate action. So basically here in the architecture which we are following related to climate change, the developed countries are supposed to assist financially to these developing countries. That is basically your common but differentiated responsibility. Okay. So the common responsibility is of everyone to mitigate these climate related challenges, but differentiated responsibility is because of their historical actions. Okay. So these developed countries, because of their historic actions, has to pay more in this particular fight against climate change. Okay. So let's have a look at the important things from this article which we have seen. Other than that, India welcomed this decision, expressing strong support for the fund as it aims to assist nations recovering from the climate disaster and handles climate related emergencies. Okay, obviously we are supporting this particular thing because we are also at a risk of this thing. We are also developing countries. Contribution to the fund were made by various countries, but there are concerns that current funding, although welcomed, might be insufficient. Okay, so as of now we have received some $475 million. Okay, and more to come, but still this particular amount is way less than what we require as of now. Okay, insufficient given the extensive financial needs for the rebuilding climate disasters. Okay. Climate advocates stress that richer countries or richer nations, owing to their historical responsibility and the higher impact on the emission, should contribute more substantially to meet the financial demands and necessitated by the climate related disasters. So basically, climate advocates are saying that these developed countries should go for more funds. Like here you can see, EU has given some $275 million, UAE has given $100 million, but USA has given only 17.5. USA can do better than that. Okay, so that is the argument which has been given by the climate advocates. Okay, now the other article is related to your disaster management. Okay, disaster management under PM Modi, a marquee project. Okay, PM Modi has given significant push to disaster management related activities because obviously he has been at the place where he has experienced this particular thing. When that there was this Bhuj attacks, Bhuj earthquakes in 2001. When these earthquakes came there, it was a significant number of casualties were there. There was loss of life and property over there, and because of which we realized that we should have a disaster management related plans in place. We should have a framework in place. Okay, considering that, okay, Gujarat has come up with the disaster management related act for the Gujarat state, and then by inspiring from that particular thing, and nationally also we have come up with the act in 2006, I guess. Okay, so let's have a look at it. PM Modi suggested the police must learn from the National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, to command respect in the eyes of people. Obviously, recently you must have heard that Uttarkashi tunnel related issue that has happened, and workers has been stuck for 17 days over there, and we now has a capability to take them out safely. Okay, so we can say that India has actually done very good on this particular front. Okay, so now here you can see at the address to IPS probationers in Hyderabad. Okay, he has given this particular speech, and he has said that the IPS cadre can learn from this particular force, that is disaster response force. Okay, NDRF instills confidence during disasters. People think if NDRF has come, they will be saved. He has said that if NDRF has come to the site of the disaster, they will be rescued. Okay, so that is the respect, or you can say that is the status of this particular force over there. Okay, so PM is saying that IPS should learn from this cadre. Okay, now let's see. PM Modi addressed IPS probationers in Hyderabad, suggesting that the police could learn from NDRF's ability to command respect through disaster response. Okay, Modi's emphasis on disaster management stems from his experience during the Bhuj earthquake in 2001, when Gujarat initiated robust disaster response mechanism. Okay, so this is the point from where Gujarat has started with their disaster management framework. Okay, and then nationally we have adopted with our changes, with few changes. Gujarat's response to Bhuj earthquake inspired the National Disaster Management Act. Okay, that is 2005, and the establishment of the NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority. Okay, this authority has been made under this particular act, which is to be chaired by Prime Minister himself. Okay, so you can see the importance of this particular thing in our nation. And then subsequent creation of NDRF, that is National Disaster Response Force. Okay, so that is created under this particular act. In addition, India created National Disaster Mitigation Fund. Okay, and then Coalition for the Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and enhanced the Indian Meteorological Department's forecasting capabilities. Okay, so what is the role of this forecasting capabilities? That it can go for early warnings. If you have early warning system which is in place and which is good enough, if they can provide for warning, that can give you a leverage of time, like you can go for operations like displacing people from that particular area, taking back all those people to the safe zone. All these activities can reduce the loss of life at least. Okay, other than that, if we are going for this Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, they can provide for the building and construction activities which are basically in lines with the disaster prone in the disaster prone areas. They can go for disaster resilient structures. Okay, in case of disaster, we can reduce loss of property as well. Okay, so that is the role of Coalition of Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Okay, when we are talking about disaster, there are preparedness, and then the when disaster is happening, that is the response, and then the relief work. Okay, so in case of preparedness, you can see that we are doing this disaster resilient infrastructure, and then early warning system. All these things are part of preparation. And then the response, this particular force, National Disaster Response Force, is the part of response. They will be going there and do as much as rescue as possible. So that is the second element. And then third is the relief. That is the long term element. Once all these things happened, you have to go for rehabilitation of the people who has been displaced from the area. Okay, so that is one thing. And in that particular part, when you are creating the infrastructure again in that particular place, you can do that is that can be a disaster resilient infrastructure. Ultimately, that becomes the part of preparedness again. Okay, so that is the framework right now we are adopting. Okay, the government revised the National Disaster Management Plan in 2019, incorporating new hazards like thunderstorm, heat waves, and biological emergencies besides climate change risk management. So ultimately, considering this particular new challenges which are increasing day by day, that is hazardous elements, etc., and then when we are talking about the extreme events because of the climate change, and then heat waves, thunderstorms, all these things has been added in 2019, considering the current requirement of the nation. Okay, so that is another thing. India's focus on disaster management has seen substantial growth in funding. Okay, the funding has increased threefold. When we are talking about state related funds and nationally, the funding has increased by threefold. Okay, so we can say that the significance in importance we are attaching to this particular thing. Okay, India's active involvement in various relief and rescue operations, such as in J&K floods, when we are talking about nationally, okay, in our own territories, and then Nepal earthquake, and recently Silkyara tunnel in Uttarakhand, and then when we are talking about this Turkey earthquake, etc., we have given some kind of assistance in those areas, highlights the nation's commitment to effective disaster response. Okay, so ultimately this is about disaster management related article. This is important for your GS3 because there is a separate topic given, that is disaster management. So you have to prepare this topic well. Okay, and you can do it from some static sources. Otherwise, you can take some 2 or 3 articles which is in the news and take recent examples for your preparation. Okay, so moving further, next is your world affairs. Okay, hold on a second. Extremists, Russia's top court outlaws LGBTQ plus activism. Okay, so we have seen that there is this trend which is going on in Russia, that more and more restrictions are being placed in Russia. Okay, recently now you must have heard about, I must have discussed that Russia working on law requiring foreigners to sign loyalty pacts. Okay, and in that particular pact they cannot criticize Russian government, they cannot criticize the Russian military, or they cannot criticize Soviet history, they cannot criticize the family values which they are thinking that significant for them, their cultural significance. All these things, you can say, they are going for a more and more restrictions over there. Okay, so Russia Supreme Court ruled on Thursday that LGBT activists should be designated as extremists. Okay, so now that they are saying that when we are talking about this concept of rights of LGBTQ plus, Russia is saying that promote the image of Russia as a guardian of traditional moral values, in contrast with the West. Okay, West is supporting ideas such as choice, okay, liberty. So Russia is saying that West can do that, but we will not. We will go for our traditional moral values. Okay, the concept of values can be different for different people. So in a speech last year, the West was welcome to adopt. Putin has said that West was welcome to adopt rather strange, in my view, new fringeal trends like dozens of genders and gay parades. Okay, but no right to impose them on other countries. So basically they are saying that West can do it, okay, that is their choice, but they cannot impose it on the other cultures. Okay, so here you can say that Russia is going on the conservative pattern as of now. Okay, so that was in the news. I have just covered the article because this is the trend that Russia is going, you can say, backward or on the lines of conservatism. Let's say this particular loyalty pact. Other than that, you must have heard that Russia has withdrawn from the CTBT. So all these trends are signing towards the direction that Russia is going for a conservative pattern now. Okay, then that would be all for the news articles. We'll see the practice question which was given to you in the last lecture. Which constitutional provision and schedule provide specific safeguard and provisions for the particularly vulnerable tribal group PVTGs in India? We have discussed in the class. I have mentioned it, and I also mentioned that I have told you the answer wrong. So you have to give it the right answer. Okay. So now options were Article 356 and 9 schedule, Article 370 and 10 schedule, Article 244 clause 1 5th schedule, and Article 368 and 7th schedule. Now here, if you have little bit knowledge of you can say our constitution, you can solve this question aram se. Okay, Article 368, we know that it talks about constitutional amendments. Okay, so that is wrong. Article 356, this talks about emergency. This is also wrong. When we are talking about the 10th schedule, it talks about disqualification. Wrong. Only option is Article 244 and 5th schedule. We know that 5th schedule somehow talks about this schedule areas. Okay, so that is why we can safely answer this is 6th schedule and Article 5th schedule and Article 244 clause 1. Okay, so let's have a look at the question of the day. In the context of commitments made at COP28 in Dubai, the operationalization of loss and damage fund for developing country highlights. You have to go through these options and say which is the right one. Okay, so we are talking about the loss and damage fund. Okay, and other information is at COP28 Dubai. Now options are the immediate financial compensation to countries affected by the climate related disaster. Then a fund solely dedicated to mitigating carbon emissions in developing nations, contribution by developing countries to contribute financially to the global climate change initiatives, and then a fund for addressing the financial needs of vulnerable nations dealing with the aftermath of climate disasters. Okay, so I have read the questions. You can look at it carefully and then answer in the comment box. Okay, so let's have a look at the question related to your mains. Okay, India's approach to disaster management has transformed in recent years. We have seen that, and discussed the significant milestones and challenges encountered in the evolution of India's disaster management framework. Okay, so basically they are talking about that there is a change in the approach. So you can give some introduction related to that, and then significant milestones. You can talk about different initiatives has been taken by the government. You can start with the Disaster Management Act. Okay, and then challenges encountered in the evolution. Okay, so you can list out some 3 to 4 challenges and India's disaster management framework, and then after that you can give a way forward and conclude the question. Okay, so that would be all for today's session. I'll wrap up the session here. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.